Broadcasting in Nigeria has evolved since 1932, starting with radio and followed by television in 1959. From a government monopoly, the sector transitioned in the 1990s with privatization, leading to a surge in private stations and content diversity. However, the industry faces significant challenges. The digital transition remains slow due to technical and infrastructure issues, while government dominance continues to affect private broadcasters. Despite these obstacles, the future looks promising. Digital platforms and mobile content offer new ways to reach audiences, while satellite technology partnerships are improving coverage. The rise of internet-based broadcasting, such as IPTV, presents fresh revenue opportunities, positioning Nigeria's broadcasting sector for growth in the digital age. Now, joining us right now to discuss development in the Nigerian broadcast industry and his latest book, titled Footprints in Broadcasting, is former chairman, Lagos State Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists and experienced broadcaster, Dr. Qasim Akinreti. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Now, before we talk about your book, let's get an overview of how you think the broadcasting sector in Nigeria performed in the outgone year 2024.
Yeah, brilliantly. Despite the challenges, I think we've done well. Statistics have shown that we have 96% people watch television and 95% listen to radio. But watching TV and listening to radio is not, it's not sacrosanct with, listening to a tube or, listening to a transistor radio, but perhaps on different platforms, out-of-door platforms, as we call it, that is the word. Because social media has also assisted, a lot for for viewership and then listenership. And we also find out that innovations that is coming in, technology has also assisted quite a lot. AI is one of a very, very important tool that has also assisted. So, we've been able to inform, educate, and entertain people adequately. Perhaps those challenges that are befalling the industry stay there, low advert revenue for us to grow the business is quite there. And of course, there's also some challenges that has to do with tariffs on equipment that we also need, for our job. But by and large, we've done, averagely, above average. We're quite okay, but we can do much more better.
Dr. Akinreti, I'll take you up on the issue of social media specifically. And how do you think that platform is shaping public opinion? And do you think there should be more regulation in there?
Absolutely, because I believe strongly in regulation. In fact, my thesis has to do with broadcast regulation, and that National Broadcasting Commission needs to do more to regulate the industry. People might say that it's not popular, but there is no free meal anywhere, and you must have someone somewhere, watching and then telling you these are the rules of engagement. You need to go along with the rules of engagement. It's very, very absolutely important. Now, social media, because it's a free-for-all, but in the free-for-all, you pick what is good for you, for you to use. That's why I said, probably some of you guys now, once you are, after making your presentation, you say, okay, follow me at so and so on X, then our Facebook platform is so and so, on TikTok. So you are also, trying to building up more, you are bringing more people into that consciousness that social media platform exists, but they are existing for the better, positively for you. Of course, there are other negative aspects of social media, which I keep telling people, but by and large, we use them as one of the resource, for attainment of, what I can call news content delivery. And it's worldwide, not only about Nigeria. If you look at the report from the Reuters Institute, for 2004, you can also see the, increase in the use of these platforms for news content generally. And AI, as I said, dominated, in the last 6 months. For example, a radio station in Nigeria is now using AI to broadcast. And so that's the beauty. And of course, you also find that you are seeing translations of most of what we are doing of live interviews, live events, you can see the cascading, and people try to understand what is being said. They can read like a print on set. They can also watch. The same thing, they can also listen. And you can also do a lot of, apart from transcription, that's something you can do rightly with AI. AI can translate most of your content into different languages for you, just on demand. And that's an improvement. So innovation, technology has helped up the ante for the broadcast media, just like it has done for the other sector of the economy.
And I totally agree, especially looking at all of the developments we've witnessed using technology. But let's come to your book. You recently launched this book, which of course is right there before you. In honor of Aremo Taiwo Alimi, former Director General of Voice of Nigeria. Yeah. I'd like to know what informed, the choice of the title of the book and why you even ventured into writing the book at all.
Well, first of all, is the book, as you can see, has to do with footprints in broadcasting. It talks about three things: professionalism, dedication to duty, hard work, that hard work pays. Finally, that there are mentors, people we can follow in this industry. When you read about them, you are quite enamored to say, yes, I'm also going to be like them. Aremo Taiwo Alimi, his days as a broadcaster, left good legacies, both in radio, both in television, and said in community radio too. It's community broadcasting. So he gave broadcasting all is about his life and nothing more. And he's also a stickler for discipline. And that is exactly what we need in this industry. Yes, if you are good professionally, you must also, adhere to the rules of engagement. The discipline of the job must also be with you. And you also reward hard work. That's one thing about him. So for someone like this, we need to put it to the consciousness of the younger generation that, yes, there exists someone who gave all his life to broadcasting. And then that people can also emulate him based on those criteria that I've talked about. And for all of that, people who have worked so hard all their lives about, engaging and making a job much more better in particular aspects of life, they need also to be honored. It's quite disappointing that he has never been honored. There's no national honor in his name. And I don't think that is extremely too good. And another thing also need to know that he also speaks true to power when it comes to the issue of broadcasting. When it comes to the issue of political debates, Alimi is a front runner. He set the pace there. But of all this, how does he become a broadcaster? What would you know about his early life? In its youthful age, what did he do? He was also an activist, a youth activist. That speaks volume for the younger ones. That your activism must be positive. Your activism must be about Nigeria, making Nigeria much more better. And then when you get a job, you're working in the public sector, please give your best to public service. That's exactly what Taiwo Alimi has been able to do, both as the commissioner, the longest serving commissioner in Ogun State for the Ministry of Information, Youth, Sports and Culture. So, there was, what are his footprints? What are his legacies? We must put this in perspective for people to really understand. When he was the DG of Voice of Nigeria, he turned the table. He was able to establish, to make Voice of Nigeria, to be louder, and clearer. He has what they call a do list. And he's going to do this and take it. Yes, I've done with it, I've done with it. But within the main, those who are also working with him, that he finds are working hard, he also, reward them. In terms of job opportunities that comes in for training, he also give this out. I think all this must be put into context for people to understand, and the younger ones to read about the exceptional, performance of a Director General of Voice of Nigeria, who lifted the organization in terms of his philosophy, in terms of core values of broadcasting. Aremo Taiwo Alimi give it all. And I believe that for posterity, what I've done is to put this, in print. And it's also on digital form. It's on Amazon. It's also on audiobook. So whichever, platform you want this particular material, you can always get it. Because for me, I also need to say thank you for the opportunities I was able to get. I'm still working in Voice of Nigeria as a deputy director, but I was able to rise in my broadcasting career through his efforts, singularly because he rewarded hard work and nothing more. I don't know him. I was an intern when I joined Voice of Nigeria, but he recognizes that, yes, I've been able to give broadcasting my best at that very young age. And every opportunity that comes to be rewarded for the hard work, Aremota gave it to me. So I was abroad twice, Singapore, to learn about internet broadcasting, way back in 2000, year 2000. Again, I went back to the UK to study online journalism in 2000, 2003. And that was a time, that was the hallmark of my own entry into the digital space. And that was the time when Voice of Nigeria was able to have a website to compete, favorably with international media organization. So for me, that is an opportunity to put all these things, for history, so that people can read about it, appreciate what it's all about, and then honor this man for what he has been able to do for broadcasting, for what he has been able to do even for electionary debates, because he was at the forefront, he started it. Yeah. This is what he did when he was in the US. So practically everything that the man was able to do when he was abroad, he brought them here to Nigeria. So let me replicate all these good efforts, in broadcasting. And that, for me, speaks volume. Wherever we have the opportunity, we need to come back and give back to Nigeria what Nigeria deserves, so that Nigeria, could be a good place for all of us to enjoy.
Very good. So on that note, talking about the fallout of the consciousness and, of course, the legacies, how do we teach young broadcasters to imbibe ethical standards of the profession? Good. Regarding this briefly.
Yeah, good. I have the opportunity, I had on a good note that University of Lagos Mass Communication Department is starting a course, on biographies about, talking about, getting to know more about the broadcasters. And I think this is a good step forward to teach younger ones about those ethics of the profession. What are the things that stands people like Aremota Walimi out? We should be able to read about them, along with basic things, that we have read in the textbook. But putting in the practicality of it in our own environment, we also need to appreciate this. So when the younger ones will be able to read this, and then marry this along with the experience they're having in the industry, I think that will also be good for us. So that today, nobody will just come from nowhere and say, I just want to become a broadcaster. And then he had lived, for example, on air, which is quite unethical. Or obviously, certain mannerism he was quite displaying on air, but on TV or on radio. By the time he goes through all this, he will be able to understand what we're talking about. Aremota says he listens. His life is about broadcasting. He listens to radio, he watches television. As old as he is, at 80, he will still pick his phone to call a presenter in particular radio station. Or say, what is going on there? Could you please pronounce this word well? Could you please look at your script? Something is wrong there. That's his passion for the job. For broadcasting or for journalism, passion is very, very important. And so we need to get this, we need to get it right. And once you are there, because you are an advocate for the people know that that's why you want them to know. But if you don't know, there's no way you can pass on the knowledge. So we must tell these younger ones that for you to be a broadcaster, people look at you as embodiment of knowledge, embodiment of people that would speak truth to power. Embodiment somebody can refer to, yes, I heard this on so and so TV station. I heard it on so and so radio. I watched it so and so. And it's also give authenticity to that particular platform. just like Voice of Nigeria motto, you know, what we have there, that, you know, this is an authentic, this is what we call the authoritative choice. Voice of Nigeria, the authoritative choice. Because everything that we put on air, everything we put on our digital platforms is so authoritative about Nigeria, about Africa, and of course about the world. Well,
very succinctly put. Thank you so much for bringing to fore these ethics and particularly the legacies of Aremo Taiwo Alimi, former Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Dr. Qasim Akinreti, former Chairman, Lagos State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists and experienced broadcaster. We do hope that this changes the face of broadcasting in Nigeria.